Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and I was sent an article earlier today by Mint Press that does a very, very good job of showing the links between the military-industrial complex, NASA, the CIA, the spy satellite program, Tesla, our taxpayer dollars, and Elon Musk. It's great, okay? And because of that, I felt that we would do a companion piece to it. Now, in large part, I knew the vast majority of what was presented here, okay? But there was a name that I was not familiar with. And the thing about this guy is he was the Central Intelligence Agency liaison that brought the Musquerade, okay, into the military-industrial complex and NASA, basically. The spy satellite program, you name it. And what I thought was really, really interesting that I didn't know about this guy, his name's Michael Griffin. I'm going to give you a little sampler about what we've been talking about and what we're going to be talking about. If you really read this, now he becomes the director of NASA, the head of NASA. And you go, Jason, you keep showing Dennis Bushnell. You tell us he's the head of NASA. He is the real bureaucratic. He's the chief scientist at NASA Langley. He works for the military-industrial complex. He advises the national security apparatus on many levels. He is one of these guys that knows about technologies almost nobody else knows. I promise you that. And what this guy is, he's a spook that kind of makes it all happen, okay? And I want to read this. Earlier in his career, okay, at NASA, Griffin served as Associate Administrator for Exploration from August 1991 through March 1993, okay? Becoming the Chief Engineer in March 1993 through January 1994. He also served as Deputy of Technology at the Strategic Defense Initiative Organization. Oh, you know, the organization that nobody likes to acknowledge but needs to, that we militarized space in the 80s. And that's what NASA really does. Okay, that's the real deal. So, folks, before we get it going, I need you to thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. We're going to be going over pretty much this whole Mint Press article by Alan McLeod. I don't really know anything about the guy, but I do know that this is a really, really good piece. And it's got some factoids, some quotes, some overlap in what we talked about. For instance, you know, he talks about Bolivia and how Musk essentially said, hey, we're going to coup who we want to coup, get over it. Oh, thank you, Elon. That's great. That's great. He also shows you how Tesla doesn't need to make a profit. And yet, oh, you know, he's brilliant for buying into Tesla. He's promoted by the military-industrial complex. So thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. We are often, well, we're censored on YouTube. There's certain things we can't even really talk about that Musk is invested in the bio-nano world, let's just say that. But we may do in a separate video that is also linked to what? DARPA technology. And DARPA's not named in this article either. And neither is the actual spy satellite program. Okay, he talks about Lockheed Martin, but he doesn't name Blackjack by name. So, you know, there are a few things he needed really to do. But again, really, really good stuff. And I encourage everybody to read it. We're uncensored over at the Rockfin. If you want to see the things that you can't see elsewhere, I would suggest you go there. You make a free account, or for $9.99 a month on a desktop, you hit subscribe. You get everybody else's content, and you support this broadcast. You're also able to tip on there, which is great. We got the audio formats and some of the videos also over on the Podbean. We're rumbling. So Rumble, even though I paid a live stream, and so far they haven't censored me, right? They don't monetize everything. Right? Not that I'm even going to make my $25 a month back yet, even close, over at Rumble. But again, we're trying to grow here. But they do have a thing called ads free. When I saw that starting to come up on videos, there are certain things you can't talk about on Rumble and monetize. And again, I back my stuff up, Jack. That's all I'm saying. Odyssey, thank you for backing me up because, hey, my YouTube channel could be gone. There's over 2,000 videos there. Another great way to support me is to buy me a coffee. The links are in the description down below. It really does help. But you also check out all the documentary films for free. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. Share those. Let's get going. The Musquerade All right. So, first of all, I I want to go over the Ukraine with everybody, okay, which he talks about. All right. And really, he gets into how throughout the entire journey of Elon Musk, he's got these military industrial complex contracts that are just out of this world, right? I mean, let's just look at this. I mean, when people start talking about his $44 billion purchase, that is anything, ooh, he's the bad boy. Come on, where's he getting that money? Seriously. And we've gone over this. I wish he would have gone over this. How is it that Elon Musk has his fortune increased by 600%, okay, during the COVID 1984 nightmare? How is it I saw more Tesla fill-up stations throughout the country as I traveled it during this time than I'd ever seen before? Bezos, Gates, Buffett, Page, Brin, all behind him. All behind him. And that's not brought up, okay? So again, you look at this. Musk, whose estimated $230 billion fortune is more than twice the gross domestic product of Ukraine. Okay? Now, I want everybody to think about that. Now, they talk about these. Man, I hate the selection tool on this because I don't need the yellow. They talk about 2,400 small satellites. All right? And basically, that's the Starlink program, right? But who knows how many are really up there? Who knows how many are functional? I think all of them are Trojan horse civilian systems and can be accessed by the spy satellite program 100%, whether they're Mandrake 2s or not. Okay, and what's a Mandrake 2? What's that? That's part of the Blackjack program and DARPA and what SpaceX actually does. Okay? They deploy the satellites. You see that? That was in June of last year. So about 11 months ago, they're deploying these right here. They're Mandrake 2 spacecraft, Able and Baker. Okay? Functioning well and progressing through the checkout and commissioning. Isn't that lovely? DARPA's Blackjack program. Ooh, okay. That's what SpaceX is doing. All right, and you know what? This is a good time to cut to Kash Patel because he lets the cat out of the bag here on Gutfeld. He's like, you know what? The Musquerade, he's doing some stuff in space. A lot of people aren't aware of it. We're funding it, by the way. We're funding all of it. It's all coming from taxpayer dollars. And, he's the biggest defense contractor.
He is doing some cool stuff in space and everything. He's doing a ton of stuff that you would think is so global. He is literally launching this thing called SatLink, which almost no one knows about, but he's been building for 5 years, which is free Wi-Fi for the world.
Which is amazing.
The world.
It's going to change everything.
And there again, no one's talking about it. You think the Democrats would be championing this like, oh, I can be in Central Sahara, Africa and get Wi-Fi on my $3 million phone.
Yeah.
But they're not. And if you've actually watched one of these satellite link uploads, it's like a string of pearls being dropped in the night sky. It's really cool. I mean, we're all paying for it. This is why he's so rich. DOD's biggest contractor is Elon Musk.
That's right.
Oh, very interesting. I just learned something.
I'll never get hired from him now. Can you edit that out?
Drop it on the floor. Joe, does
think about that. And even the joke after the fact. Elon's taxes, Well, so that's also brought up in this article. We'll get there. But basically, I think it's between 2015 and 2018, so a 3-year period. I guarantee if your family did really well, you paid more taxes than Elon Musk. You paid something like $70,000. Okay? And they also talk about how Starlink isn't really a mass market solution, right? These are the specialized people. They have the dish. Okay? He says, such a small number of people using the devices raises eyebrows. Who is important enough to be given such device? Surely only high-value individuals, such as spies or military operatives. Now, I said this from the beginning. Number one, we were putting communications back in after the Russians knocked them out. And when I say we, I'm talking about because Elon is moving military cargo anywhere in the world. Let me repeat this. Anywhere in the world, okay, in an hour. Signed that contract last January, right there. It's, no big deal. All right? Whether or not they're just using the commercial, it doesn't matter. You're giving communication systems to a war zone. A war zone. All right? And he gets into In-Q-Tel funding this. All right? And I want people to understand that In-Q-Tel is this seed funding apparatus, okay, that also has major connections to Google, another Trojan horse civilian system that what? Partners with NASA. We haven't even gotten going on this article, guys. And by the way, thumbs it up. Again, subscribe, share, Rumble, Rockfin. Now, we did cover this right here. But first of all, I want people to understand this, because we didn't cover this. That the Starlink are serving a military purpose is now beyond clear, of course. Indeed, in a matter of weeks, Starlink has become a cornerstone of the Ukrainian military, allowing it to continue to target Russian forces with drones. These are the Sidewinder and Ghost drones I talked about, and other high-tech machinery dependent on internet connections. The official told the Times of London that it was a must to use Starlink to target enemy forces in thermal imaging. Okay? And we covered this right here, that Starlink is what changed the war, okay, in Ukraine's favor. It's right here. And we've got them posing with these things. No big deal. No big deal. So you think about this, man. Everybody thinks we're going to the moon and Mars. And, you know, we've played the clips now of Dennis Bushnell basically saying that we're going to send nanobots to Mars. They're going to do reconnaissance. They're going to send the info back. By then, the VR is going to be so immersive and available, and we're going to be also transhuman. That's how we're going to actually visit Mars. And then we're going to build this new species, you know, through our automation. And he goes, what? Biosectioning the neocortex in silicon. That's his line most of the time. Biosectioning the neocortex in silicon. And we're going to have this new species, and they're actually going to Mars. And maybe they'll terraform it for us, and then we'll go to Mars. But by then again, he also says we're merging with the machines at a rapid rate into the virtual era. All right, so here's the Rocket Man thing. All right, and this is why it's so important to understand that the CIA, NASA, black sites, they're all in on it, man. It's compartmentalization and control. That's why you need to read Andy Jacobson and understand that some people that worked at Area 51 thought they were going to be working at NASA, right? And we'll just go right here, because Elon had never really, you know, launched a rocket. Okay? And again, here we talk about, they talk about the Lockheed Martin GPS systems into orbit and all these things, but we really should have said the Blackjack program. He talks about the National Reconnaissance Office, and again, we talk about how the NRO is cited in the 2001 document, 2025 Strategic Warfare, Future Strategic Warfare, right? These satellites are used by all the big five surveillance agencies, including the CIA and the NSA, by the way. Okay? Trojan horse civilian systems like Google, SpaceX, that's what they're really here for, right? They get cultivated by this thing, In-Q-Tel. From its origins in 2002, SpaceX has always been extremely close to the national security state, particularly the CIA. Perhaps the most crucial link is Mike Griffin, who at the time was the president and COO of In-Q-Tel, a CIA-funded venture capital firm that seeks to nurture and sponsor new companies that will work with the CIA and other security services, equipping them with cutting-edge technology. Again, this is the DARPA tech that they get out into the consumer grade. And that's why Elon Musk is also the brain chip guy, the Neuralink guy, the DARPA guy. Okay, I wish DARPA, look, it's a great article. I hope there's a follow-up that gets into the transhumanism and just about everything we're talking about here. The Q in its name is a reference to Q in the James Bond series, a creative inventor who supplies the spies with the futuristic tech. And that's why, you know, we're probably going to be going over signature reduction at the Reawaken America tour in August. I'll be speaking there in Rochester, second day. Please watch my presentation here on Musk, transhumanism, and NASA. Some of that we're going to be seeing. Actually, a lot of it we're going to be seeing right now as we continue to go over it. But still, some of it you won't see. So it's definitely worth the breakdown. So one of those technologies right now in the public is, of course, this. The skin hand. Yeah, it looks like a hand, but really it's skin tight, and it can have any kind of biometric information printed on it. In other words, any kind of fingerprint they want, and it emits human oils. Think about this. I mean, my goodness. Talk about in your face and wild sauce, okay? So, you know, In-Q-Tel, and we fund it. They're the tax-funded player in the Silicon Valley. Wonderful, lovely, great, fantastic. And like we said, Mike Griffin ends up working for NASA. Okay, we're going to keep... This is really some of the more interesting stuff that I was not aware of. And remember, when we talk about these satellites going up, we weaponized space in the 80s. We weaponized space in the 80s. Okay? He's part of the Strategic Defense Initiative Organization. Bushnell, the chief scientist of NASA, will let you know very clearly that these are weapon systems. All right? Not just for the Sidewinders and all that other stuff. All right? We talk about, we might as well bring up the document, right? Because we have the documents. The blast, not just the Trojan horse civilian systems, the Googles, the SpaceXs, the ones that are seed funded, right, for information, internet, and psychological warfare, and then to be a front for their technology. All right? All of this is right here. They have blast wave accelerators. Okay, blast wave accelerators. And these are for the microsatellites. Let's just go to blast. Is it right there? Because there's actually a really good drawing of the blast wave accelerator. Let's see. Nope, and it's pretty cheap, too. See if we can actually find it. I doubt it. We're going to screw it up. We're going to screw it up. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. But you can see these weapon systems are real. Okay? I just want to make that clear. And I think we found it the other day. There's the microsats. Micro and nano satellites. And the blast wave accelerator is also like, it's warfare on the cheap. Okay? Just, they're non-lethals as well. There's a lot here, in this NASA document. You understand? CIA, NASA, NSA, all the same thing. Google, this guy, the Musquerade that brings SpaceX into play right here, Michael Griffin. Okay? Griffin was with Musk from day one, virtually, accompanying him into Russia in February of 2002, where they attempted to purchase cut-price intercontinental ballistic missiles to start Musk's business. Musk felt that he could substantially undercut opponents by using secondhand material and off-the-shelf components for launches. The attempt failed, but the trip cemented a lasting partnership between the pair, which Griffin, going to war for Musk, consistently backing him as a potential Henry Ford of the rocket industry. 3 years later, Griffin would become the head of NASA and would later hold a senior post at the Department of Defense. DoD, CIA, NASA, NSA, Google. Google owns YouTube. Alphabet, parent company. Calico, transhumanism, immortality. Right. I'm sorry that these things all intermingle, but it's very clear that when they're putting this out in pre-9/11 times 2001, the bots, Borgs, and humans welcome you to 2025 AD. It is real, and it's on pace. And now it's just, hey, we're at Davos when humans become cyborgs. 2020. Pre-pandemic, folks. And more, they're talking about what? The Internet of Bodies, transhumanism. You are not going to have a choice. This is insanity. He's the front man for all of this, including the Neuralink technology. Okay? So while at NASA, Griffin brought Musk in for meetings and secured SpaceX's big break in 2006. NASA awarded the company a $396 million rocket development contract, a remarkable gamble, in Griffin's words, especially as it had never launched a rocket before. As National Geographic put it, SpaceX never would have gotten to where it was today without NASA. No kidding. No kidding. So again, all this, is big time $1.6 billion NASA contract for commercial cargo systems. Isn't that great? That's how their payroll was saved in 2008. Okay? Now this is where he kind of talks, we're just going to, some of this article is a little bit ridiculous because he talks about how, like, the car he launched into space could somehow, kill other biological beings. I doubt it. I think we're a little bit stronger than that. It's not a bioweapon. I think that this part got a little bit ridiculous. And, nuking Mars, good luck. Maybe the technology actually exists to get to Mars in the sense that they're not using rocket propulsion systems, and really, I would say alloys that are publicly known. What do I mean alloys? Well, you know, if they're using like traditional things that are on the periodic table there, chances are they're not making it to Mars. Okay, that's my personal opinion. Yeah, I guess that's me speculating a bit. But again, rocket technology is Nazi technology, is NASA technology, is technology like Saturn V's, right? That is old, decades and decades old, and we have other propulsion systems. And realize, again, Musk is saying what? Point blank, whether he was involved in the Morales ouster, he said, we will coup whoever we want to. Deal with it. He's part of the team. You know, he's Team America. He's Team DOD. The Musquerade. The Muskernuts. All right? So, you know, and they actually bring up some of the lithium mining. They bring up, what is it? You know, his South African roots. And then right here, it's really important. The taxpayer funded stuff. Okay? The world's richest man funded by taxpayers. They're not even a top 15 automaker, but because they want to move you away from empowerment, they want total control, they want automation, they want to fool you into thinking that these electric cars, which could be way more quote-unquote sustainable, if it's sustainable meant empowering us, right, and us not having to pay a bigger energy bill. No. Sustainable means our standard of living goes down. And that's why, you know, the Musquerade here says, hey, have your $15,000 sustainable home. It's like a mini trailer. No, thank you. No, thank you. And that's why they were like, he's the man of the year. Old Muskernuts. Totally promoting this guy. And that's another thing. You know, I don't know how this guy feels about quote-unquote climate change. Whether you believe it or not, bro, the CO2 that they say they want to reduce is us. It's us. You better believe it. Okay? They want our standard of living dropping so much that we believe that we are the ultimate enemy of the earth. The hypocrisy is incredible. They have no means of actually, or want, by the way, to actually clean up what they've done to devastate this planet. So in other words, you think they're going to stop weapon systems testing? They don't measure that CO2, do they? You know, all the CO2 I produce in my lifetime is never going to be one session of some of these weapons testing on land and in sea, by the way. Okay, and that's never brought up. And props to Abby Martin for bringing that up, that they don't even record that. So again, it's another part of the Musquerade. You get it? All right, and they wanted to have this green credits system. All right, that's what it's really about. Okay, so Tesla's worth more of a market cap than Toyota, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, GM, Ford, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, and Volvo put together. Despite not being a top 15 car manufacturer. And yeah, that's not propped up by the military-industrial complex and this whole agenda. Come on, everybody. Let's not just do the Elon dance because we want to. Okay? That's what we have to understand. So this is a great article, but we're going to expand upon it because we want to talk about how Google, again, and the InQtel stuff, the CIA stuff, that's big. But Google becomes the global brain, the front for the AI. And we often talk about how Google partnered with NASA for quantum supremacy all the way back in 2019. That's when they achieved it. But their partnership goes way back because it's NASA, the NSA, okay, the CIA, InQtel. You get it? It's all part of this military-industrial complex apparatus into Trojan horse civilian systems and now signature reduction. DARPA, the old DARPA sauce in there. All work in this weird compartmentalized Borg. So here's Bushnell, the chief scientist of NASA, around since the pre-Apollo days. The guy that's really, he's the generational guy, right? They'll put these intelligence guys in as the head of departments and whatnot and move this around. But he's the real guy that's going through and basically looking at the future and how they can manipulate things and when they can allow these technologies to get out? And who wins the game? Because it's not about real capitalism, guys. My goodness.
The machines are capable of really good deep learning, and that's what most of the current AI is based on. The current AI is essentially soft computing. It's neural nets, fuzzy logic, algorithms, and the deep learning. The machines coming up as we leave silicon and go to bio-optical, quantum, nano, molecular, and atomic computing, there's another 10 to the 8th to 10 to the 12th to go. We've come 10 to the 8th so far. The machine intelligence, currently, there's the soft computing business, but no one really sees a way to get to humans via deep learning or soft computing. They just don't, not yet. There's no breakthrough in algorithms. What we are doing, which will get to humans, people now think, and this is what's worrying people, is the biomimetics part. This is where you nanosection the neocortex, replicate it in silicon, and you don't have to understand how it works, you just have to make it work this way as an artificial human brain surrogate. They will all go to Google. Oh, God. Okay? So this is now the de facto global brain, which will only get better. And we are busily, with nanosensors and other sensors, networking within 10 years some 3 trillion sensors. So the global brain will be fed with all of this information, okay, and it will have all of the contents of all the libraries, and it will read all of everybody's emails and everything else, and so you end up with a
total surveillance biomimetic state. I mean, he's not even shy. We're going to read all the emails. This is the global brain. What don't you understand? What don't you get? I mean, they're and again, In-Q-Tel, they all are part of the same Borg. All right?
Really big global brain. That's different from intelligence. These people that you speak of that are worried about this are worried about the fact that as we develop, which we can now, it looks like via biomimetics at least, in the next 10, 20, 25 years, a human level machine intelligence, there's the conventional rules of we're going to make it friendly to humans. Well, it turns out that people have now delved into that a bit, and they're not so sure we can do that.
So we're going to stop that part of it there, and we're going to fast forward to where he tells you that we're going to merge with the machines. But basically, he goes into the fact that, look, the this new species that we develop and create out of AI doesn't even have to be malicious to wipe us out. And they're still mad scientisting this. You know, that's the problem. So here we go. This is where he tells you again, and it's in their documentation, what is the virtual age? Because it's not just holodecks, okay? And it's not just VR. It is literally uploading your consciousness. And they don't know, but we're here, according to these guys. We're here. They don't know how long the bio-nano era lasts. Started in 2020. Again, according to Bushnell in 2001. The virtual era is this. We merge with the machines. Let me say it again. We merge with the machines. And how do you get people to do that? Well, some things we can't talk about on YouTube. I'll tell you that right now. But you also can push old school technology, aka Neuralink, aka these brain chips, where they say that you can sit down in a kiosk for 6 hours and you'll be able to communicate with others without talking. Great. Okay, and do all sorts of wonderment. Okay, you're going to listen to Taylor Swift in your head. Great. Just the best thing ever, right? But really, at the end of the day, they want you to believe that you can somehow upload your soul, your consciousness. And if you believe in a soul, I hope you realize that's Johnny nonsense and hogwash.
Essentially no jobs the machines cannot do. We currently have creative software that are doing ideation just as good or better than humans now. The creative jobs will be the last ones to go, but I have not been able to discern any jobs the machines cannot do as machine intelligence and all the rest of the autonomous robotics develops. So now we're to your question, okay, what do you do with these people? There's essentially...
Because if you can't do the jobs and you can't contribute to the economy, what do you do with the people? And again, in 2011 at the Blue Tech Forum, he says this is Malthus 101, and they may institute population control. I may have to play that clip too to make it very clear. You know, we might drag that one in. We might do it live because I do think that that's really important for people to understand that this guy's not playing. Okay? Like these people will do what they say. It's a little bit longer of a clip, but again, this is telling you your standards of living are going to go down. But let's get to the the virtual age means you merge with the machines, you upload to the machines.
3 options. You've covered one, which is the guaranteed income, and the machines can produce the productivity, the wealth necessary to pay this. It's just the machines do the work instead of the people. Yes, you have to change the cultural milieu, but you know, this is eventually doable. This is only one approach. The second approach is the fact that what's changed since you last looked at this is the whole technology level, and we humans are now converting ourselves into cyborgs. We now have artificial retinas, artificial hearts, we have brain chips. DARPA's working on brain chips for super soldiers. We can have a high bandwidth COM port built in, so we don't have to use the sensors, and they're very limited bandwidth. And eventually this all ends up with uploading into the machines, and instead of us versus them, humans versus the machines, we become them.
We become them. There it is. Forget about it. And you know, right now they're putting this tech. I mean, this woman's got a brain chip. She's great. She feels great. She's not depressed anymore. She's just alone outside in the garden in a mask. Okay? It lifted her depression, apparently. Brain chips are great. Just awesome. So let's bring up Bushnell again. And this might be a little bit longer. But this is Bushnell, again, talking Malthus 101 and population control. And by the way, he talks code words here. So the code word is sustainability. It's your standard of living plummeting. Okay? And then the code word, later on, if we played the whole clip, we're not going to play the whole clip, is productivity. And that's where he tells you all the way back in 2011, they had 10,000 brain chips in people. Now we're going to fast forward to 2018, 200,000 brain chips in people. Again, he loves Musk because Musk, NASA, CIA, DARPA, are you getting it? Okay? So let's play this clip.
No-brainer. The ecosystem appears to be crashing. Freshwater shortages, you people know that, that's why you're here. Species extinctions, the emergence of fragile human-engendered monoculture biomes. There's the climate change stuff, pollution of all manner, deforestation, loss of topsoil and wildlife habitat. The humans are practicing anti-terraforming, where terraforming is what you do to make the ecosystem more salubrious for humans.
So, once again, Dennis, did that have anything to do with the warfare aspect and the military aspect and maybe the GMO aspect or maybe the weather modification aspect, solar radiation management, Dennis, that you're very much a part of at NASA? Or no, that's all going to save us, right, Dennis?
In fact, prevention of collapse of the ecosystem has now become the overwhelming issue.
And again, that's why I always talk about this sustainability and climate change issue, because at the end of the day, like Ted Turner says, these people believe it's too many people doing too much stuff. And if you watch Shade the Motion Picture, Ted Turner says about 2 billion people is right. About 2 billion people is right. In fact, man, I don't usually do this while we're there, but you can see this free at Rockfin. It's also available at YouTube and elsewhere, but it's just right at the front here. And I think that what we're going to do is we're going to bring Ted right up to let you know too many people doing too much stuff. Like, there's Warren Buffett, a great person. They're the good guys club. They were portrayed literally as superheroes. When I say they, that's Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Bloomberg, Ted Turner. Turner's part of it. Okay. Here he is. The United Nations.
He actually acted like he was for population control.
Mr. Turner, I was wondering if you think it's a good idea to reduce 90% of the population because we are being overpopulated by a lot of...
90%.
80? Prince Philip said 80, sir. I go with 85.
I think 2 billion is about right.
About right. 2 billion is about right. 8 billion people on the planet now, Ted. Okay? That's about a decade old. You can watch Shade the Motion Picture. A lot more. Ted gets confronted on that as well. Luke Radowski, one of the best guys out there, did some really good work with We Are Change, with others. So now, because we're ruining the planet, okay, we got too many people doing too much stuff. Okay, that's we got that quote, I believe, Invisible Empire and New World Order Defined, which is also right behind me, right in this playlist section. We could probably bring that up too. I think they're great companion pieces. I think if you haven't seen them, I need you to share them with other people. Okay? That would be great. Look at that. Thomas Mitchell giving a tip for this just 3 days ago. Thank you so much. We got some tips, by the way, in Rockfin before we get back to Malthus 101. Mariah Myers and Casey Kent, thank you so much. T-Can, thank you for last night. So here we go. Let me play this right now. We're bad, by the way. We're bad, Dennis says.
Current food production is based on freshwater plants, i.e. glycophytes. We're running out of fresh water, as you know. The code word is sustainability.
It's a code word. What's it a code word for, Dennis?
The crashing of the ecosystem is due to population growth and the way we're now living, our standard of living. The estimates vary between 30 and 50% of a planet that we're currently short to sustain the standard of living and the current population, much less the population growth. As the Asians and their billions come up as they are at 9 to 11% growth rate to Western standards of living, we're going to be short 3 more planets, and they're not readily available. This will result in peak everything. This will result in standards of living plunging. There's a partial solution to this, and that is to switch to halophyte salt plants.
But they're not going to do that. They're going to say you need to eat bugs, right? I mean, first of all, there are a lot of solutions to this, but this is one that's proven. But again, that's not the solution they're going with. Think about what he's about to say here.
Grown on wastelands and deserts using saline salt water. 22 nations are doing this. This literally solves, as I'll get into, land, water, food, which is the halophytes. You can grow just on a goodly portion of the Sahara sufficient biomass to replace all the fossil carbon fuels, to provide petrochemical feedstock for all the plastics anybody wants, and grow enough food so everybody gets to eat, and return some of the 68 to 70% of the fresh water that's now used for conventional agriculture, as advertised, solves land, water, food, energy, and climate. So this is Malthus 101. These innate ecosystem restrictions and shortfalls.
So he tells you a solution, but then he tells you Malthus 101, which means, hey, what's the value of a life really worth? We are crashing the ecosystem. Maybe there's too many people.
Will necessarily shift world econometrics from a growth mantra to one of sustainability.
The code word for your standard of living plummeting.
With possible population control instigated along the way.
There it is, the old population control. Ye old population control. Why is it always about population control? All right? And look, I'm not even going to play this end part right here, because now you've seen the Google associations, the NASA associations, with Musk himself, the CIA, the military-industrial complex. It's all here. Now I want you to hear him talk about, in 2018, 200,000 people having brain chips already. It's 2022. Think about the exponential growth. This is 2011. It's 10,000. It's a 20 times growth in 7 years. All right? And then on the tail end of that, we're going to end it with the crescendo of him talking about a militarized space and going back to that blackjack program that Musk and SpaceX are involved in on top of it.
Humans are now becoming cyborgs. We have cochlear implants to hear, artificial retinas to see, artificial hearts to live, artificial limbs to move, artificial organs to function, and brain chips. There's a couple 100,000 people wandering around with brain chips now to fix congenitally defective brains and increasingly to fix memory and other things. DARPA's working on brain chips for super soldiers. And people are now working, thanks to Musk and other people.
Musk or Nuss, there he is. Musk and other people. Again, Musk is just the front man, the good guy. He warned about AI. He says population control is bad, okay? He wants free speech on Twitter. But then look at all the actions. Look at who's funding him. Look who's pushing him. I don't trust the CIA any day.
Funding on direct machine brain communications. It's not us versus them, us versus the machines. We're merging. And this is the human evolution of the humans. There is no more natural evolution of anything. People are convinced that the human evolution of everything is 10 million times faster than any natural evolution. And so this is just part of the human evolution of the humans, which will apply in a little bit when I talk about something else.
So everybody just think about that right there, okay? He's literally telling you, we're it. There is no natural evolution. So whether you believe in God or not, whatever's happened, I happen to believe in micro evolution. Okay, I know that's, first of all, I think intelligent design on this planet is extremely evident. Okay, and I think a macro evolution, species to species evolution, is something that has to be questioned. Micro evolution, however, within a species, due to the environment, I think is extremely evident. I think it's evident in the human species, right? If you look at really the different races that we talk about, right? The different ethnicities, they're in direct relation to where these human beings were for generations, right? Locationally, and especially in relation to the sun. Just saying. Just, one of the big factors out there, okay? But now they're just saying, we're taking over. We've essentially become God. And now, this is where, again, we talked about Musk, we talked about the satellite systems, we talked about blackjack, and now he's going to be questioned in 2018 about the Russian satellite systems. Now, remember, the Russians have said they can nuke all the NATO nations within 30 minutes via their space weapons.
Is the Russian satellites that are moving in unknown and unusual paths. In other words, satellites are no longer just satellites, but now they are moving around in unknown and unexplained patterns. Can you comment on that and the evolution you see of satellites with that similar technology?
And the second one is the Russians apparently have satellites up there that I'll describe it. They're moving in strange ways, and there may not be normal.
See the smile on his face? Let's zoom in on that. As soon as he didn't really hear the guy before, but as soon as he goes strange ways, he knows right away. Oh man, listen, dude, this is the classified part of the program. Don't you get it, bro? This is what we're really doing. Yeah, this isn't about us going to the moon or Mars or protecting the planet. No, man, this is about the military-industrial complex. Of course, I'm not gonna be able to talk about that. That's hilarious. Somebody gets it. Somebody had a real question.
Normal satellites, maybe doing something different. So what's that all about?
No comment.
Oh, come on now. No. Killer satellites? Are they? No. Okay. All right. Sorry, Ty. What?
What he didn't tell you is I'm the NASA rep to the National Intelligence Council.
I'm the NASA rep to the National Intelligence Council. This is all about the defense, the DoD, NASA, DARPA, NSA, CIA, black sites, okay? Real weapon systems, real propulsion technology, Area 51, read Annie Jacobson. It's not about little green men or aliens, okay? Well, I mean...
and so I got to be a little careful.
Yeah. He's got to be a little careful. Part of the military-industrial complex. And that's where, again, this NASA rep, this CIA In-Q-Tel stooge right here was part of that weaponization of space program. Directed it. I mean, come on. I mean, the deputy for technology at the Strategic Defense Initiative Organization. Okay? He's the guy that brought the Musquerades in for the big paydays, for those DARPA paydays, for launching spy satellites over Easter weekend and beyond. He did it since then. Okay? They have you believing he's couch surfing. He's just another guy, right? It's not a big deal that he's launching, something just like Elon's Starlink. He's launching it. And he's fighting with the poot. Okay? He wants single combat. I mean, no, he's not a stooge. of the military-industrial complex. He's not encouraging World War III. Thumbs it up. Subscribe. Share. I do think I got another Tipsky and Hutch over here. Todd Fife, thank you so much. Guys, please support the broadcast. Consider at least giving me a thumbs up, a subscribe over on YouTube where I'm constantly censored. Coming over to the Rockfin, checking out the documentary films. I mean, Shade's right there, guys. Shade's right there. We are 56,000 plus strong over at the Rockfin. Great place to check out all my uncensored stuff, especially because I've been censored so much. We're rumbling. I could use your help on Rumble. We don't even have 1,000 subscribers on Rumble. And we're live streaming. We're doing it all. We're expanding. Audio, Podbean. It's all there. And if you really want to support me, buy me a coffee. $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. It's how we keep doing it. To it. Guys, the documentary films, again, free. Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies. Very important to know. Very important to understand what really happened on 9/11. So you don't get caught up in this left-right paradigm, or people are coming to save you, or a phony Durham investigation that really was limited hangout from the beginning. Okay? No matter what you think about the jury and the process and that rigging aspect of it, limited hangout from the beginning. Okay? So it's you, it's me, it's those around us that must become the great resistance to this very real New World Order, great reset, transhumanist agenda. You must always remember to love your neighbor, okay? Love yourself, have respect for yourself as well. And remember, it's not about left or right, it's always about right and wrong. And I love you, and I will see you on the flip side.